Alex had never expected to find anything unusual on this uncharted planet. From orbit, it looked like a quiet green world, its forests glowing faintly under the light of its distant sun. He had been traveling alone for weeks, exploring small star systems on the edges of known space, mapping resources and scanning for anything useful. His ship was old but reliable, built for long journeys with minimal support. He enjoyed these trips. They were peaceful, almost meditative. But as his scanner picked up a faint signal deep within the forest, his curiosity drew him closer. The signal was irregular, almost like it was struggling to maintain its frequency. Alex followed it cautiously, landing his ship on a clearing surrounded by tall, luminous trees. The air smelled strange but clean, and faint wisps of mist rose from the ground, curling around the glowing trunks. Moving carefully, Alex approached the source of the signal. At first, he saw nothing but broken branches and scattered debris. Then, half hidden under a canopy of vines, he saw a sleek metallic shape. It was a ship unlike anything he had ever seen. Its design was elegant, almost organic, with smooth curves and glowing lines that pulsed faintly. But it was clearly damaged, with parts torn open and sparking wires exposed. And inside the ship, he saw her. She was lying on the floor, her chest rising slowly as she breathed. Alex froze for a moment, unsure of what to do. She was clearly alive, but her features were unlike any human's. Her skin shimmered faintly, almost translucent in places, and her eyes were closed, framed by long silver lashes. Her hair floated lightly around her head, defying gravity in small, subtle movements. There was an otherworldly grace about her, even in her injured state. Alex moved closer carefully. He did not want to scare her, and he knew he needed to act fast. Pulling out his portable medkit, he checked for obvious injuries. She had a few cuts and bruises, but nothing immediately life-threatening. He cleaned the wounds and applied a temporary bandage. She stirred slightly but did not wake fully. "I'm going to get you out of here," he whispered. He stepped back and examined the ship. It was advanced far beyond anything he had ever worked on. Its systems were unfamiliar, its interface alien, but Alex was good with machines. He had learned quickly to adapt, to understand patterns and structures even when the designs were strange. He could fix this ship. He just had to figure out how. Hours passed as Alex worked. He climbed over the damaged hull, rerouted power through makeshift circuits, and carefully replaced broken components with spare parts from his own ship. Sparks flew, systems beeped and whirred, and slowly the ship began to respond. Its lights brightened and the faint hum of dormant engines grew stronger. Finally, as Alex tightened the last panel, he heard a soft sound behind him. "Who are you?" a voice said, fragile and melodic. Alex turned to see her eyes open. They were large, glowing softly, and they studied him with a mix of caution and curiosity. She sat up slowly, wincing slightly from her injuries. I'm Alex," he said, keeping his hands visible. "I found you and your ship." "I fixed it." Her eyes widened. "You repaired this?" she asked, her accent strange but understandable. "No one has ever touched it without permission." Alex shrugged, trying to sound casual. "I didn't mean to intrude, I just didn't want you to die." Her gaze softened slightly and she studied him. There was something in her eyes, a spark of curiosity, maybe even admiration. She pushed herself up fully, testing her limbs carefully. "You are human," she said, almost in disbelief. "I have heard of your kind, but never met one." Alex chuckled softly. "Most humans haven't met anyone like you either. You're different." Her lips curved into a small, almost shy smile. "And you are brave or foolish, perhaps both." Alex grinned, feeling a strange warmth. He wasn't used to being complimented like this, especially by someone so otherworldly. "I like to think I'm careful," he said. For the next few hours, they sat in the cockpit together. Lyra, he had learned her name from the ship's interface, explained that she had been ambushed by space pirates. They had destroyed her ship and left her stranded on this planet. She had been trying to send a distress signal, but the damage prevented it from working properly. Alex listened, fascinated. Her language was complex, full of soft tones and rising inflections, but with a few careful words, gestures, and the ship's translation system, they managed to understand each other. He explained his life as a traveling engineer, mapping star systems and repairing machines. Lyra seemed genuinely interested, leaning closer to examine his tools, asking questions about how humans could adapt to strange technologies so quickly. By evening, The forest outside glowed in a soft ethereal light. The air was filled with the faint hum of alien insects, and the mist danced around the trees. Alex realized he hadn't noticed how tired he was until now. Lyra noticed too. "You work too hard," she said gently. "Even humans have limits." Alex smiled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Maybe I just like fixing things. It feels right, you know?" Lyra tilted her head, studying him. "You'd to care for things deeply. Not just machines but life. That is rare." Her words surprised him. He wasn't used to anyone recognizing such qualities in him. He shrugged. "I guess I do. Maybe it's just human nature." As night fell, the forest glow intensified and the stars above shone brightly. Alex prepared a small area in the cockpit for Lyra to rest safely. He couldn't let her wander the forest in her weakened state. She hesitated at first, but then nodded, seeming to trust him. Before closing his own eyes, Alex looked over at her. She was staring out the viewport at the alien sky, her expression unreadable but thoughtful. For a brief moment, he wondered what it would be like to travel with her, to see the galaxy through her eyes. The thought surprised him. He shook it off and focused on rest. There would be time to think later. The next morning, Lyra was more alert. She moved gracefully around the ship, testing the repaired systems. Alex watched her, noting how careful she was, almost reverent, as if the ship were an extension of herself. He had repaired machines before, but never had he seen anyone treat their technology with such care and respect. "You did well," she said, turning to him. "This ship lives again because of you." Alex shrugged modestly. "Just did what needed to be done." She studied him for a long moment, her glowing eyes reflecting the sunlight streaming into the cockpit. "You are not like the others," she said softly. "Most would have left, or taken what they wanted. You stayed. You protected." Her words lingered in the air, and Alex felt a strange warmth. He didn't fully understand why her approval mattered so much, but it did. There was something in her presence, something compelling and gentle yet strong, that drew him in. As they prepared the ship for takeoff, Lyra moved beside him, her hand brushing his as she checked the controls. The contact was fleeting but electrifying. Alex caught himself staring, unsure how to respond. Lyra noticed and gave a small enigmatic smile. "You may come with me," she said suddenly, "if you wish. The journey ahead is dangerous. You will see things you have never imagined." "I do not want to go alone." Alex hesitated. He had never been invited to travel with an alien before. It was risky, yes, but also intriguing. "I suppose I could use a little adventure," he said, forcing a lightness into his voice. Lyra's smile widened, though it remained mysterious. "Then it is decided. You will come, but no. Once we leave this planet, life will not be the same. You will see wonders and dangers. You will have to trust me." Alex nodded. "I can do that. I trust you. For now." As the engines hummed to life, the forest below faded into the distance. Alex sat in the co-pilot seat, glancing at Lyra as she expertly guided the ship through the planet's atmosphere. The feeling of weightlessness, the rush of speed, and the anticipation of the unknown filled him with exhilaration. Lyra looked over at him briefly, her eyes bright with a mixture of curiosity and something deeper, an emotion Alex could not name. She had never met a human like him before, and he had never met an alien like her. Yet somehow their paths had crossed, and their fates were now entwined, at least for this journey. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and Alex realized that for the first time in his life, he was not just repairing a machine or surviving alone in space. He was part of something bigger, something he could not yet understand, but something that felt extraordinary. And Lyra, sitting beside him, clearly felt it too. Her fingers brushed his briefly again as she adjusted the ship's controls, a subtle acknowledgement of their shared journey ahead. The adventure had only just begun. Alex stared at the endless stars ahead, the soft hum of the ship beneath him calming his thoughts. Lyra had taken control of the flight, her fingers moving with a grace and precision he had never seen. The ship was alive in her hands, responding instantly to her every touch, every adjustment. He watched her, fascinated, and realized that their journey together was more than just about repairing a ship. Something unspoken was growing between them, subtle and undeniable. "You are quiet," Lyra said suddenly, breaking the silence. Her voice was soft but carried through the cockpit. Alex looked at her. "I guess I am. There's a lot to take in. This ship, this planet, you, it's all new to me." Lyra tilted her head, her glowing eyes studying him closely. And yet, you are not afraid. That is strange. Most would tremble at the unknown. Alex chuckled softly. Maybe I am afraid. I just try not to show it. I've learned that fear doesn't help when you're far from home. She smiled faintly, a small curve of her lips that seemed to light up her face. You are brave, human. I did not expect to meet one like you. The words warmed Alex, though he didn't know why. He was used to praise for his skills, his engineering. But this was different. She wasn't admiring what he could do. She was admiring who he was. Hours passed as they traveled through the glowing nebulae, the stars stretching endlessly around them. Lyra explained more about her world and her people. Humans, she said, were rare in the galaxy, known for their ingenuity, adaptability, and courage. Her species valued loyalty and shared purpose, especially among those chosen as mates. Alex listened intently, absorbing every detail, fascinated by her culture and the trust she had begun to place in him. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Alex grabbed the edge of his seat as warning lights flashed across the cockpit. Lyra's hands moved over the controls, steady but urgent. A meteor field, she said calmly. We must navigate carefully. One wrong move, and the ship will be destroyed. Alex leaned forward, studying the sensors. I can help, he said. If we work together, we can get through this. Lyra nodded, her expression serious. Very well. Follow my lead and do exactly as I say. The next hour was a blur of calculations, quick maneuvers, and tense coordination. Meteors streaked past them, some breaking apart, others spinning dangerously close. Alex suggested adjustments to the ship's shields, rerouting energy to protect vulnerable systems. Lyra implemented them instantly, and together they guided the ship through the treacherous field. When the last meteor passed and the danger subsided, both of them slumped back in their seats, breathing heavily. Lyra's eyes sparkled, a mix of relief and admiration. You are remarkable, she said softly. You think quickly, act decisively. You are more than I expected. Alex laughed lightly, brushing sweat from his forehead. I think we make a good team. Lyra's gaze lingered on him, and for a moment Alex felt a strange flutter in his chest. It was more than friendship, more than gratitude. There was something in her expression that spoke of trust, curiosity, and perhaps something deeper. As they continued their journey, Lyra began to show subtle signs of connection. She shared small personal details about her life, her hopes, and her fears. She watched Alex closely, learning from his reactions, and he did the same. Every shared glance, every brief touch on the controls, added to the bond forming between them. One evening, the ship entered a region of space filled with radiant, swirling clouds of gas. The colors shifted from deep purples to brilliant golds, illuminating the cockpit with their glow. Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes reflecting the colors around them. Most humans would be frightened by this, she said. Yet you look in awe. You appreciate beauty even in danger. That is rare, Alex smiled. I've seen a lot of worlds, but nothing like this. It's amazing, and being here with you makes it even more incredible. Lyra's expression softened, and she moved slightly closer, though careful to maintain her balance as she worked the controls. You're different from others. I feel drawn to you. You care, in ways humans often do not. That is why I want you to stay. Alex froze, unsure how to respond. Her words were clear, but the meaning behind them was something he had never faced before. He had saved her ship, helped her survive, and now she wanted him to stay. Not as a companion, not just as a helper, but as something more. I don't know what to say, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. You do not need to speak, Lyra said gently. Your actions, they say enough. You have proven yourself. Courage, kindness, loyalty, these are not common. That is why I wish to remain with you. Alex looked at her, his mind racing. He had traveled across countless star systems, faced danger, repaired countless machines, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. Yet, as he considered her words, he realized that he wanted to stay. He wanted to see the universe with her, to share experiences, to face challenges together. I want to stay, he said finally, his voice firm. I don't know what the future holds, but I want to be with you. Lyra's eyes brightened, and a rare, genuine smile spread across her face. Then it is decided. You will be my mate. Together we will explore and face whatever comes. Days passed as they traveled deeper into the galaxy. Alex learned more about Lyra's people, their history, and their connection to the stars. He also learned about her abilities, her strength, and her wisdom. He was amazed by how different she was from anyone he had ever known. And yet, in their shared experiences, he felt a growing sense of belonging. Their journey was not without danger. They encountered rogue pirates, navigated unstable star systems, and faced cosmic storms that threatened to tear the ship apart. Each challenge brought them closer together. Alex relied on Lyra's knowledge and skills, while Lyra relied on Alex's ingenuity and quick thinking. They became a team in every sense, trusting each other implicitly. One night, as the ship drifted near a distant, glittering nebula, Lyra approached Alex while he was reviewing navigation data. She reached out, her hand brushing his arm. The contact was brief, but it sent a warmth through him that he could not ignore. "You are important to me," she said softly. "Not just for what you do, but for who you are. That is why I chose you. That is why I want you by my side." Alex turned to face her, taking her hand in his. "And I choose you," he said. "I've never met anyone like you, Lyra. You've changed my life in ways I can't describe. I want to be here, with you." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, a reflection of the nebula outside. "Then, our journey truly begins," she said, her voice full of hope and determination. Together they continued through the stars, facing challenges, discovering new worlds, and sharing moments of quiet wonder. Alex realized that being with Lyra was more than an adventure. It was a chance to be part of something larger, to experience a connection that transcended species and worlds. Over time, their bond deepened. Lyra began to teach Alex about her people's culture, their philosophy, and their way of life. In turn, Alex shared human stories, his experiences, and his dreams. They laughed, debated, and supported each other, learning from their differences while celebrating their similarities. One day, as they approached a newly discovered planet rich with resources and life, Lyra turned to Alex with a serious expression. "There will be challenges ahead," she said. "Not all will accept us, our bond, or our presence in certain systems. But together, we can face anything." Alex nodded, his confidence growing. "I've faced danger before, Lyra, but nothing feels as right as this. We'll face it together." She smiled, a mixture of pride and affection. "Then, we are ready." As the ship descended toward the new world, Alex realized that his life had changed forever. What began as a simple act, repairing a ship, had become the start of a journey he could never have imagined. He was no longer just a human explorer. He was a mate, a partner, and part of a bond that spanned the stars. Lyra looked at him, her expression soft but full of determination. "The galaxy is vast," she said, "but with you, it feels like home." Alex returned her gaze, feeling the truth of her words. For the first time in his life, he felt completely connected. To someone, to a purpose, and to a future filled with possibilities. Together, they would explore the unknown, face dangers, and discover wonders. And through it all, they would do it side by side, bound by trust, respect, and something deeper than either of them had ever known. As the ship glided over the new planet, bathed in the light of a distant sun, Alex realized that this was only the beginning. A simple repair had led to a partnership that would take him across the stars, into adventures and experiences that no human had ever faced. And with Lyra by his side, he knew they could face anything. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and full of challenges, but it had also given him something extraordinary. A connection that transcended species. A bond built on trust, courage, and mutual respect. Alex had repaired a ship, yes, but he had also discovered a companion, a friend, and a mate who would journey with him through the infinite stars. And together, they would write their story among the stars,